Being the voted fan favorite unit on the Japan side of the game, I was expecting Regina to be a premium unit with 3 abilities. To my surprise, she's not! Van Harma's got that last part covered though. Regina's Trustmaster reward is a 2-handed gun with high attack and magic. When equipped to Ultimate Regina, it'll boost her magic by a whopping 1000. Her Super Trustmaster reward is an accessory with good magic. It has a passive that's basically indestructible light. This would be amazing if we didn't have Clash of Woes awards, but even with their presence, it's still pretty good. On to her active abilities. Fill Layer Burst, fills her Layer Burst. Magic Converter will massively strengthen the damage modifier of Regina Cannon. Magic Supply expansion can be used once per battle. It reduces her cooldowns by 30 turns, and on the turn after that, will lower the cooldown by 32 turns. And on the turn after that, wow, 33 turns! But what dumb ability needs that many turn reductions? Why, Regina Cannon, Final, which can't be used at the start of the battle, can't be part of a multicast, and wants to wait 99 turns! The ability itself deals ice magic damage that partially ignores the enemy spirit, so it's pretty straightforward, huge cooldown aside. Ice Force Supply will imbue ice onto Regina, boost her ice damage by 25%, and strengthens the damage modifier of Regina Cannon. Earth Force Supply is the same thing but Earth. Defense Mode Plus gives Regina a 75% general mitigation buff, lets her evade 2 attacks, and buffs Regina Cannon. Anti-Demon Magic Module will give Regina a powerful double killer against demons, a 50% physical and magical mitigation buff against that species, and a damage modifier buff. Anti-Machine Magic Module is the same but for machines, and Anti-Fairy is for fairies. Force Enhancement requires half of Regina's Layer Burst gauge to give her a 300% stored magic buff. Kana System will give Regina a re-raise buff, fills her Layer Burst gauge by 1/3, restores 600 MP, and strengthens the damage modifier of Regina Cannon. Lastly, Regina Cannon deals 3 separate hits, perfect for pairing with damage modifier buffs. Passives. But for Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, Regina gets 700 magic, boost to chaining, extra stats when paired with an Esper, and a strong double killer against all species. This will pair extremely well with the killers she already has, and will certainly help for any external killers too. She also has a nice booster Layer Burst damage and Layer Burst gauge fill rate, which is great given her heavy Layer Burst cost. She prefers to carry a single weapon, needing half the cap to the chain layer boost. Her normal attack has been changed to attack, which hits the enemy and restores 400 MP. At EX plus 2 she gets switched to combat position, a mysterious voice to which Regina responds, Roger, switching to combat position, which seems to imply she wasn't doing that before. Switching to combat position will fill her Layer Burst gauge, and strengthen the damage modifier of Regina Cannon and attack. At EX plus 3 she gets 1000 magic. She has a small spread of elemental resistance, which is nice, but definitely needs work. Let's look at her Layer Burst. It hits the enemy, boosts Regina's ice damage by 30%, and strengthens the damage modifier of Regina Cannon and Regina Cannon, Final. As a Super Layer Burst damage dealer, Regina has access to Magic Shift, which automatically boosts her magic by 250%, her Layer Burst damage by 200%, and fills her Layer Burst gauge when the Super Layer Burst is ready to go. The Super Layer Burst boosts her magic by 300%, and grants her teammates 5 different abilities. These abilities, utilizing the power of friendship, heart, and really something that could have benefited from voice acting, will strengthen the damage modifier of Regina Cannon, Final, and Regina Cannon, and also chains of a triple casted Bolting Strike. She also gives herself a 300% stored magic buff. Time to make a damage rotation. On turn 1, cast Fill Layer Burst, Ice Force Supply, 2 different killer buffs, and Regina Cannon. On turn 2, use her Layer Burst. On turn 3, cast Ice Force Supply, 2 different killer buffs, Magic Converter, and Regina Cannon. On turn 4, cast Magic Supply Expansion, Ice Force Supply, the 2 killer buffs, and Regina Cannon. On turn 5, use her Super Layer Burst. On turn 6, have everyone cheer for Regina, and have Regina fire Regina Cannon, Final. You don't need to use her Layer Burst again for a while, so if you've got enough of it filled up, you can replace one of the weaker modifier buffs for Force Enhancement. Just make sure to use it right before she attacks. So, EX2, as a Super Layer Burst damage dealer, Regina automatically benefits from additional EX Awakenings. EX plus 2 also lets her start with her Layer Burst, giving you the option of starting right with it, or in my opinion, use the extra damage modifier buff for Regina Cannon. EX plus 3 is just stats, but, well, it's a lot of stats. So how good is Ultimate Regina? She's very powerful, and depending on what support units you've got, she can grow even stronger. For instance, you can remove her elemental imbues and keep her damage modifier buffs, or, in the case of Earth, amplify that damage even further. You can also bring in units or equipment that can further buff damage modifiers, given that Regina Cannon has 3 separate hits. As a damage dealer, she's got a lot going for her. Her MP consumption isn't much of an issue of her kit. Regina Cannon is flexible, her passes provide a strong foundation, and she even has some of her own defensive tools, which I hope you don't need too often. Speaking of which though, while it's great that Regina has some tools to help her survive, she'll likely need some extra equipment, but as she only has one build, you'll likely have to really rely on external support. Lastly, said external support might want to watch out, because giving Regina their power will use a lot of MP, and depending on the unit, it might be a problem. There's also the possible outcome where your unit might just have something better to do, though that really depends on what's going on. Nevertheless, nitpicks aside, Regina is ultimately a very solid unit. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below if you summoned Ultimate Regina. As far as Japanese units go, there are certainly worse ones to get.